Hey all, welcome to Tuesday with Pastor Dan. Welcome back. We got back from vacation. It was a good one. But yeah, we're back to it. So here we are. Um, Recently, my beard got a little long and my hair got a little kind of odd, and here in the corners I'm getting pretty gray, getting pretty white, and then in the chin it gets real white when it's long. And someone said, "Ooh, you're getting pretty gray." And I thought, yeah, at 37 I am. And Bethany has mentioned it before. My aunt got me when I was turned 30 and started graying in those areas. That's what the men in my family do. We turn gray. Um, and Bethany and I talked about it, and she was like, "Well, you can get just for men." And I laughed about it because, well, I could, um, but the gray hairs don't bother me like they bother some people. Those scars, the blemishes, the imperfections, the bags under the eyes. I can tell when I'm tired, but they don't necessarily bother me anymore in the ways they used to. And I'm not sure why, but I was reading. I picked up a new book by the lead singer of the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, and his whole introduction to the book is that, I mean, he starts with sometimes I forget that I've aged, um, and I feel that way too. Sometimes I forget that I've aged. The idealistic, little rebellious, the excited person inside of me, still there. But we look in the mirror, and he talks about his reflection bears the chipped teeth of weathered smile, cracked and shortened from years of microphones grinding their delicate enamel away. Heavy bags beneath hooded eyes from jet lag, sacrificing sleep, and see patches of white within my beard, um, thinking how full of age we are. And I feel him. But he goes on to tell further in that about how um, he's at a concert with some big celebrities for the hurricane. I don't know which hurricane it was, but a relief thing. And he was asked to take some photos with some fans, and so there would be some in the green room. And he went back to the green room expecting to see some kind of like a yearbook of celebrity musicians. And there was just two in there at the time, and one was, he didn't say who they are, but there was one who was clearly fighting age. Looked like a polished, veneered version of a person who is just denying how they've grown. And then another one with scraggly gray hair. I assume it's Keith Richards. Cigarette, just a t-shirt, scars and bags, and just looking rough. Um, One who accepted the reality of aging and life and the stories that came with it. And that's where Dave gets in his introduction, is that it the blemishes, the scars, the bags, the gray, we love to hide them. We love to put on some perfected image, but that's not the true reality. He talks about he says, if you leave a Pelham Blue Gibson Trini Lopez guitar in its case for 50 years, it will look like it had been delivered from the factory. But if you take it into your hands and show it to the sun and let it breathe, sweat on it, and play it, over time the finish will turn a unique shade. And each instrument ages entirely differently. To me, that is beauty, not the gleam of prefabricated perfection, but the road-worn beauty of individuality and time and wisdom. Take it out and play it. Take it out and play it instead of having some sort of prefabricated perfection, but take it out and play it. Let it breathe. Let it see the sun, the cracks, the dings. And you can look at a musician, especially a guitars, and see how they've played and see how they're worn, and the backs where the lacquer and the veneer and the finish is worn off, where their fingers have abused the fretboard, and their sweat from their arm has eaten away at the top of the paint on their and the beautiful, and the guitar he's talking about is one of my favorite guitars, the Trini Lopez. But play it. We try to hide our imperfections, our scars, our gray hairs, our bags. We do everything we can because we don't want anybody to think that there's anything wrong. We don't want anyone to think that some way, shape, or form that we don't have it all together, or we want this prefabricated perfection to see the world. We want Facebook lives. It's ludicrous. Is it impossible to live that way? Eventually, at some point, the lacquer wears off, and then we have to show the cracks. But what if the cracks, what if the scars, what if the bags and the gray, they tell the stories of our lives. They show the tracks in the sand from where we've come. And those may be the most beautiful parts. An instrument played is much more beautiful than an instrument in the case. A life lived is so much more incredible than a life that's just been hidden away. A life authentic, where we see each other's scars and brokenness. Where the cracks, they show the light. And that's how it seeps through the cracks. There would be no reason for grace if we stayed in the case. There's no reason for it. But Paul says over and over that grace, Jesus died for us while we were still sinners, and we are saved by grace, not by our own doing. We can put on perfected little lives and shows for people, but most people don't buy it. I think our lives would be much fuller if we took them out and played them. If we showed the scars and the beauty of the worn, torn dents and dings and the stories, the best stories and the worst stories. I don't know. Maybe it's just my thoughts, but I think maybe we should get out and live a little more fuller rather than hiding behind walls of ludicrous perfection, of silliness that we try to hide our lives. But share them. Let people see where we've been, see the road-worn scars, and be authentic with one another. You all have a blessed week. Look forward to seeing you soon.